can't see it because I got the light behind me. Okay. Now you can't see me. Laura has grown up in a dormitory in Paris, surrounded by prostitutes, the insane, and other forgotten women. With her friend Madeline, she dreams of using her needlework skills to become a seamstress and one day marry a nobleman. But in 1669, Laure and Madeline are sent across the Atlantic to New France. The girls know little of this destination except for stories of ferocious winters and men who eat the hearts of French priests. To be banished to Canada is a punishment worse than death. This haunting first novel explores the challenges that a French girl faces coming into womanhood in a brutal time and place. From the moment she arrives, Laure is expected to marry and produce children with a brutish French soldier who can barely survive the harsh conditions of his forest cabin. But through her clandestine relationship, it's very hard to read, it's worn off. Anyways, she meets the Iroquois and the New World. So, she's in this school. I'll call it a school. And this other girl comes in. And this other girl has a beautiful dress and beautiful long gloves on. And she feels like she is obviously a privileged girl. And Laure doesn't care for her much. She feels like she's very dramatic. And the new girl gets sick, and Laure feels that she's putting on a show because she feels like she likes drama. Anyways, the new girl ends up dying. She wasn't putting on a show, and Laure feels really horrible about this fact, and she goes to. She doesn't know. Laure doesn't know that this new girl has died. And the night when the new girl died, Laure saw her. The new girl came up to her and said, "You're the only one who can help." So I'm taking it was the ghost of the new girl, the spirit. And Laure is so moved the next day about this new girl coming up to her and saying, "You're the only one who can help." She sneaks out of her, I'll call it a dormitory, and she sneaks across and she goes to the hospital where the new girl is. And she asks the nurse, or nun there, where she is. And anyways, then she finds out that this girl is dead. And I don't really think she figures out that it must have been her spirit or ghost that came to her to see her. And so far, I don't know why that would have happened. Like, they don't give any indication that Laure has any sort of powers. Like, it doesn't seem to be that type of book. So I'm not sure what that's about. And whether anything else like that will show up, I don't know. I'm about halfway, not quite halfway. But anyways, because Laure slept out of the dormitory, which is not what it's called, but anyways, she slips out. She has broken the rules. Therefore, she's going to be shipped to Canada and Quebec. Everything they've heard, and this is the 1600s, so everything that they've heard about Quebec and Canada so far is bad. It's freezing cold. The savages are killing everybody. Yeah, it's an Iceland. It's a wasteland. There's nothing there. Of course, brides are very much needed. Women are very much needed. And they take women that are prostitutes. They take women, they gather up women around the city that are prostitutes. They gather up women that have mental problems, and they're shipping them to Canada because the men are in desperate need of women, and the women that go there have to live in cabins, well, not even cabins, just little huts in the middle of the wilderness. And there's the Iroquois Indians all around, which are killing everybody, and it's freezing cold, and there's no real towns established yet. The kitty's here looking for attention. Anyways, so Lorraine was on the streets with her mom and dad, and they were trying to clean up France and get everybody off the streets. So they either killed or kicked out the poor. And they take the children, and they take them, I can't remember what the place is called, but they take them to this place. And he's getting pet, see? Pet, yes, oh yeah, he wants attention. You want attention, don't you? Yes, you do, you want attention. He wants attention. Anyways, she was actually lucky enough that this woman came around to the school who was looking for kind of like a companion, a woman of money. And the woman picked Lorraine, and she actually lived with her, I believe it was 3 years. And the woman taught her to read and write, which was something for the women back in 1600s. They didn't learn how to read and write. So she learned how to read and write, and she actually kept the account books at the school she was in for another lady, and which gives her an advantage. And she was very good at needlework, which obviously in the 1600s, as you probably know, is also another big advantage for young girls to be extremely good at needlework. So not only can she read and write, which most of the girls cannot do, she's good at needlework and keeping account books. So now she gets shipped off to Canada because she left the dormitory, because she broke the rules, and because she sneaked out to go see how the new girl was. She thought she was sick and in the hospital, and she thought she better go see her. And because she sneaked out, this is what... No, hang on. She wrote a letter to the king. That's right. I remember now. She wrote a letter. The cat is driving me crazy to be pet. It's just driving me crazy. Every time I stop petting him. Yeah. Pammy. Anyways, so I have to pet the kitty. She wrote a letter to the king to let the king know that the conditions at the school she was in was horrible. And the gruel and drool that they were being fed. And, I don't know, just the conditions that they were being kept in was really, really bad. And the king sent back a message because he didn't really like that. He didn't like that. He's keeping all these orphan girls and all these women of the prostitutes, and he really doesn't care that they're being fed gruel. And so anyways, she is labeled as a mischief maker for writing to the king. And yes, that is a diaper behind me. I'm babysitting my grandson. And yeah, there are diapers and toys everywhere. Well, not diapers aren't everywhere. Toys are everywhere. You big sucky poo. Anyways, Yeah, once she writes the letter to the king, that kind of is it. That seals her doom, and she's sent to Canada. So she gets on the boat. She's on the boat for 2 long months. Of course, a whole lot of people die on the boat to Canada. And, the food is terrible. They have these biscuits they have to eat, and yeah, it's really, really bad conditions. Her friend Madeline is sent with her. Unfortunately, her friend Madeline is in very poor health. Madeline has not died yet. I am scared she's going to. I'm only halfway through the book, and I keep hoping that Madeline won't die, but Madeline's health, her best friend Madeline from the school, health is really bad. I really hope that the author doesn't kill her off, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, I'm petting the kitty still, because he's being a big suck. So she's off to Canada. She's off to a little tiny village, and we will see what happens to Lorraine now. She's supposed to get married and help populate this area, but the Indians are killing everybody off, and the cold kills everybody off, and there's just not much town there at all, any place for anyone, because this is the 1600s in Canada, and they're just kind of shipping all the unwanted, troublemaking, mentally problem people in the 1600s to Canada. If they don't die on the boat and they make it, then they'll marry one of the men, because the men are, like 100 to 1 for the women there, and they need women desperately, and they need to populate. And of course, they're trying to bring all the good religion and Christianity to the savages there, and all that kind of stuff.